Imagine a city with 40,000 apartment towers, shopping malls, 6-lane highways, and modern parks. But almost nobody lives there. Now imagine China built hundreds of these, on purpose. 50 to 65 million empty homes, enough to house the entire population of France. Twice. And here's the part nobody tells you. These ghost cities weren't a mistake. They were a weapon. In 2010, a district called Kangbashi was built in Inner Mongolia. Modern apartments, grand plazas, designed for 1 million residents. But when the first families moved in, the population was barely 30,000. Entire apartment blocks sat dark. Streetlights turned on every night. For nobody. Western media called it a disaster, a housing bubble, incompetence. But they missed the real story. Because China wasn't building homes for people. It was building a machine. Here's a statistic that'll break your brain. Between 2011 and 2013, just 3 years, China poured more cement than the United States used in the entire 20th century. 6.6 gigatons of concrete, 45,000 tons of steel, and all of it had to go somewhere. China had built the world's biggest steel industry, the world's biggest cement industry, millions of workers, thousands of factories. And if that machine ever stopped, visual. Stickman factory wheels screeching to a halt, workers looking panicked, a graph showing unemployment spiking, mass unemployment, social unrest, economic collapse, the Communist Party's worst nightmare. So they found a solution that was almost too clever. Build cities, whether people need them or not. The ghost cities were a giant sponge. They absorbed China's industrial overproduction and turned it into something you could sell. Property. And Chinese families bought in. Hard. 70% of Chinese household wealth is stored in real estate. Empty apartments weren't just homes. They were bank accounts. People bought apartments they never planned to live in because prices only went up. Every year. For 20 years. It was the greatest wealth machine in human history. $10 trillion parked in concrete. But here's the problem with a machine that has to keep running no matter what. In 2021, it broke. Evergrande, one of China's biggest developers, collapsed under $300 billion in debt. Prices started falling. For the first time in a generation, Chinese apartments were losing value. And remember, 70% of family wealth was in those apartments. Every 5% price drop wiped out $2 trillion in household wealth. Between 2021 and today, China's property crash destroyed up to $20 trillion in value. That's like wiping out the entire GDP of the United States in a single year. The weapon China built to dominate the world economy, it just fired backward. China's ghost cities were never a mistake. They were a deliberate strategy to keep an industrial empire from collapsing under its own weight. And for 20 years, it worked. Until it didn't. The scariest economic weapons are the ones that look like accidents. Subscribe for one business secret every week, before the next one breaks.